Hi, welcome to our Philosophy of Education D2L site. I'm Dr. Gibson. You'll see my face in a video soon enough. But to get us started, I just wanted to give you a quick tour of D2L and the materials that you'll need to complete the course successfully, and just give you a quick guide to the layout of the course and how each week will flow. Okay, so as you know, this is a 6-week summer course, which means in 6 weeks, we are fitting in an entire semester's worth of work, which means it's a lot more work each week than a regular semester-long course will be. So I say that up front because it is a full 3-credit course. So as I go through this website, the D2L page, I just want you to keep that in mind, right? If you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get it done? You will. And just know that in 6 weeks, you are completing a 3-credit course. Okay, so you all, I'm sure, are familiar with D2L pages. This course is completely asynchronous, which means while there are deadlines, you are completing tasks and readings and viewings and writing on your own at your own pace. You'll be interacting with your peers and with me virtually through the D2L space, but otherwise you are working at your own pace, completely asynchronously. Everything you need, save for one book, is here in this D2L website. The book that you need, I'll show you in a second, should be available at the bookmark. It's also available through Amazon and other online booksellers. And I also know that there are many bootleg copies, PDFs of the 2 chapters from the book that we will be reading during this course. Okay, so the first thing I want to make sure that you are aware of is that this home landing page I use frequently. This is where I post news items. And these news items often include video messages, mini lectures, updates on course assignments, extra resources. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to this news feature, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second, or where to access information about how to do that in a second. But that's what this landing page is for. You'll also see the calendar over here on the right, which should be synced up with all of the assignments and the checklists. So this is a good place to stop and check in before you navigate into the course. I'm going to go ahead to content now. So let's click on table of contents. When you come here to the table of contents, this is where the meat of the course is, okay? Everything that you need, all 6 modules are here in addition to the preparatory materials. What you need to know is that each week of the course, the 6 weeks, is a module or a unit. Each unit covers a different topic within the philosophy of education. And each unit has basically the same flow. But before you get started in the units, I want you to make sure that you come here to Start Here course information. When you come to Start Here course information, there are several different pieces that you should check out before you start digging into the content of the course. The first is this very simple preparation activity. There is an introduction where you'll be introducing yourself. There are some course documents for you to check out, which include the syllabus. There are some guides for setting up your D2L settings as well as your VPM, and then it gives you information about the required text, which is right here. So the required text is a book by Paulo Freire called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. It is 4 chapters long. We read 2 of the chapters, so half the book, which is why we can't link to it from the library. We exceed the fair use limits. So you can buy the whole book, which I recommend reading the whole book. But otherwise, as I said, I'm sure if you do a Google search of the titles of the chapters, you should be able to find PDFs of them out there in the world. Okay, there is a discussion topic here where you will introduce yourself. You'll want to make sure you do that during the first week. You can also do that now. This is not something that you need to wait to do. You can go ahead and post as soon as you want to. Okay, other pieces of information. You can find the course syllabus here as well as information on the final project. The course syllabus, I'm not going to go over in detail with you. I'm mostly going to focus here on the D2L, but the course project I will talk more about as the course goes on. Okay, so this is another preparation area that you really want to pay attention to, the D2L setup. In order to access many of the course readings, which are linked through the library, you have to be connected to the Marquette VPN, Virtual Private Network. The instructions for doing this are here. Typically, throughout the summer, throughout the course, if you are unable to access a reading, if you click on the link in the modules page and you're unable to open it up, it's probably because your VPN is either not on or is not functioning properly, or you never set it up. So this is your first line of defense to make sure that you can access all of the readings. So you definitely want to do this. You should do that today or tomorrow, right? Do this before the class starts. Then you want to set up your notifications in D2L, and this will include things like, do you want to be alerted when there's a new news item? Do you want to subscribe to discussion feeds, etc., etc. So you can set up your notifications here. I do recommend getting emailed when there's a new news item. You can also subscribe to the D2L calendar, and I believe that it links up with your Outlook calendar, so you can get reminders for when assignments are due. I'll show you where you can find those in the D2L page in addition to this. Okay, so here, and then also this is more about subscribing for your Outlook and your Gmail. I don't think you need to worry about enrolling in a D2L group, but if you do, I'll let you know. Then down here, resources for student success. These are good resources to glance over and to have in your back pocket should you find that you need help with technical difficulties, that you need academic assistance beyond the scope of the course, or you need reminders about how to engage with academic honesty in the digital sphere, right? This will also help you think about time management and course planning. Okay, so before you begin the course, so I'm going to be posting this today. It's Wednesday, May 19th. You will probably get a message about it this evening. By the time you're viewing it, it'll probably be Thursday the 20th or Friday the 21st. I recommend before Sunday when the course officially starts, or maybe it starts Monday, either one, take an hour or two to sit down, do your introductory post, set up your VPN, set up your D2L notifications, and read through the syllabus. You will be ready to go then when the course officially opens next week. Okay. Another space that I want to draw your attention to is the Cyber Cafe. So the Cyber Cafe is here for you to use. This is a great place to ask questions that are beyond specific assignment requirements, where you may be posting in a D2L discussion board or handing something in. These are questions that you think your classmates would benefit from, or maybe you find a cool resource that you want to share. Whatever the case may be, this is an open discussion forum and it's here. I do recommend, if you have specific questions that you want me to answer, you can reach me via the Cyber Cafe. You can also reach me via email. In the summer, I'm equally responsive on both, so you can use either one. Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts so I can show you what you need to see in terms of navigating the course. So when you're at the table of contents, it will show you here, right? Or when you're in content, you'll see the table of contents, start here, Cyber Cafe. The remaining numbered items are each unit. So each number corresponds to a week-long unit. Let's start with the first one because that's where we're going to be starting in the course. Every unit is going to look the same. There is a philosophical topic. So in Unit 1, we are thinking about the aims or the purpose of education. This is our essential question for the week. What is the purpose of education? There are some optional viewings in these introductory sections, but I recommend, even if you don't watch the videos, they're typically very short, but even if you don't watch them, I would read through this introduction to the unit, which helps you understand what you're going to be looking at in this unit and why particular resources were chosen. You will find your learning outcomes here, and then this is also where you will find your readings and your viewings. So every week, each unit or module, you have 5 readings. They are typically academic readings. Some are explicitly written by philosophers, some are not. Much is educational theory, which is connected to educational philosophy. And we'll talk more about that in weekly lectures and video notes. But so you'll have 5 readings that are all linked here. If it's not linked, it's because it's from the Freire book. So that's the book that you need to purchase or find a copy of. And then there is a film. Number 6 is a film. These are all available for rent on Amazon Prime or Vimeo or YouTube or Google Play or iTunes in the iTunes store. They are available for rent. Unfortunately, we don't yet have them in the library. If you want to hook up with folks in the class and see about taking turns renting them and doing a digital viewing party, I definitely recommend that. The Cyber Cafe would be a great place to organize that. Okay, so 5 readings in a movie every week. The typical flow of the course is that the beginning of the week is for reading, the second half of the week is for assignments, and they're the same assignments every week. Which, if you want a quick rundown of them, every unit has a checklist, a task checklist, which you can open up, and it will be in order of what you need to successfully complete the week's materials. So here you can see in Unit 1, by Tuesday of Unit 1, Week 1, May 25th, you'll want to post your introduction. Then Wednesday, you'll want to be done with the readings so that you can complete the comprehension assessment. Then on Thursday, there are 2 discussions to post in, and then all remaining work is due Sunday. That remaining work is often something connected to the final project, making sure you've watched the film. In any discussions, which are typically the visual discussions that you need to respond to, those will be due on Sunday, and then your weekly writing assignment. I'm going to tell you more about each of these tasks in a minute, but you can see that the checklist has everything you need, right? So if you just want to go, if you want to read the introduction to the unit and then go to the checklist, that would be one way to navigate the course pretty clearly and pretty simply. Each of these will link you right back to what you need in order to complete the task on the checklist. So because the item that I just opened, let me click back, the item that I opened was complete readings. It brought you to this introductory section to Unit 1 aims so that you can scroll down and engage in these readings. Okay, one thing to know is that many of these readings are dense, they're difficult, they're philosophical. You will be representing what you learn in a weekly comprehension assessment, but if it is helpful to you, there is an optional reading guide in each unit where each of the readings that you will engage with is here, and there are a series of questions. These questions are for you. You do not need to hand them in. You do not need to submit them, right? You don't even need to write anything out. You don't even need to consult them if you don't want to. But many students find that having these questions while they read helps them assess their own comprehension and make sure that they are getting out of the reading what they need to be getting out of the reading. So this is here, every unit, an optional reading guide. Let's go back. So your first task, after you complete your reading, so you'll think about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're reading through those 5 articles, and then you're engaging in your comprehension assessment. The comprehension assessment is something that you have a lot of choice over. You can pick a format to demonstrate what you have learned from those readings. And you think about the comprehension assessment being about the central concept. So Unit 1, the central concept is aims or purpose. And being about the essential question, what is the purpose of education? And here I give you 5 different options to choose from. You can also select your own, or rather not select, you can come up with your own way of representing your comprehension, but this will give you an idea of sort of the time and the depth. So there are 5 options that I have listed here, 5 ideas that I have for representing. For those of you that are really digitally and social media savvy, you might think about doing a weekly TikTok video, just a few minutes long, explaining the central philosophical concept, right? You might think of creating an infographic, some kind of digital visual representation that puts the 5 readings in conversation with one another. For those of you that are avid students from the past, you might be familiar with a one-pager, but it's a way of representing what you read in a single page. There's information about that here as well as here. You might want to do a mind map. I get a lot of mind maps when I do comprehension assessments, and so you might want to use an app for that, like Miro. You might do it by hand. For those of you that like to tell stories, you might think about creating a comic strip. You can do that in Canva as well as more advanced ones, although the more advanced ones typically you have to pay for. I will also be posting examples from past semesters of different formats that students have used to represent their understanding of the readings. This is a Dropbox, right? Actually, sorry, it's up here. This is the Dropbox. When you complete the assignment, you will just come and post it in this Dropbox. Now, if you were doing something like a TikTok video or a series of social media posts as your comprehension, what you'll want to do is you'll want to cut and paste a link to your social media in a document that you can submit to the Dropbox, right? Because this is, again, a Dropbox. You have to actually submit something to it. These are due every Wednesday. So again, from Monday through Wednesday, you are reading and you are showing you understand what you read. Then on Thursday, you'll begin engaging in discussions. And there are each week, each unit, there are two different kinds of discussions. There are what I call collective meaning-making discussions, and there are visual discussions. Collective meaning-making discussions are highly structured, and you only post once, right? So you're not writing and then checking back, and they're not broad-ranging conversations. They're typically a very specific task that you'll engage with in relation to the readings. In this case, it's a quote train. So there's a quote that is posted in a thread that the first person to get into the conversation will respond to. When you get into the conversation, you will respond to the last quote that's posted. And you'll follow these instructions, and then you'll post a new quote. And that's it. The next person to come into the conversation will do the same thing. If you find that you are coming into the conversation and by the time you finish writing your post, someone else has already responded to the quote that you were responding to, that's okay. Go ahead and post anyway. Don't get too stressed about that, right? Whenever you get into the conversation, the last quote that's there when you join the conversation is what you respond to. And if we get more than one response, that's A-okay. Let me show you what it looks like. So if I come to the discussion, you'll see right here, it says use only this thread for discussion. And here's the quote that the first person to join the conversation will respond to using the instructions for the discussion. So if I'm a student, I'm going to reply to thread, type, respond, send, right? Okay, so collective meaning-making discussions are always like this, where there's a really specific prompt that asks you to engage deeply with a small slice of the readings. The visual discussions are a little more broad-ranging in that each week by Thursday, you will post some kind of visual, and it's different every week with a different prompt, to represent your own thinking about the readings. There often is no explanation with the initial post. So in this case, you will be thinking about how do you personally understand the purpose of education? And you are going to post, you're going to share a visual, so a photo, a drawing, an image from the internet, whatever the case may be, of an example or a non-example of what you think about when you think about the purpose of education. You don't have to explain anything. You will simply create a thread where you post example and non-example in the same post. Then, in these visual discussions, the first post is always you and your own thinking about the topic. The responses then are going back in, looking at your classmates' visual examples and non-examples, and making connections between what they posted and the readings for the unit. So when I come back in, or when you come back into the discussion at the end of the week, you will look at 3 different people's images, and you will talk about what those images make you think about in relation to the readings. So again, the initial post is due Thursday, the final post is due Sunday. Okay, then each week ends with a summative writing assignment. This is a writing intensive class for those of you that are using it as your writing intensive option for the Marquette Common Core. There are 6 units, so there are 6 writing assignments. 3 of the 6 will be short form, 3 of the 6 will be long form. You get to pick when you do the short form and when you do the long form. Short form assignments are short. They are just 2 paragraphs, no more than a page. A single question that you are answering in a focused way. The long form prompt is longer, 2 to 4 pages, so a short paper. Often the question is similar to the short form, but it allows for more elaboration. These writing assignments, these weekly writing assignments, are summative in the sense that they are meant to represent what you've learned over the course of the week in the module. And you are applying what you've learned to an actual educational case or context. In our course, those cases and contexts come from the film. So in Unit 1, your film that you're watching is Brooklyn Castle, Module 1, Brooklyn Castle. So the writing assignment is about Brooklyn Castle. You can either choose to write 2 paragraphs answering what does it tell us about the purpose of education, and you will pick 1 reading to talk about in relation to that question. Or you can write 2 to 4 pages, same question, but you're going to draw on more of the readings as you do so. It's going to be more elaborate. These are due on Sunday. Again, it's up to you to decide when you want to do a short form and when you want to do a long form. If you are taking this class as your writing intensive option for the core, I recommend that for at least one of your writing assignments, you make revisions based on it. This is part of the point of a writing intensive class, is that you have the opportunity to work on becoming a better writer. And so taking feedback from me, you can work on revising it, and that includes a revised grade. Anyone in the course may do this. I recommend it at least once for the writing intensive students. This is a really quick course though, so often students find that in the summer version, they don't have the time to take advantage of this, but just know that it's there for you. And then if you're a grad student, you are expected to do additional research each week for your long form writing prompt. And then the last piece, oh, it seems to be missing. We'll see, it's a good thing I'm making this video. Our last discussion piece is missing here, which is there's supposed to be a discussion here where you get to talk about the final project. There are intermediary steps. I'm going to go to Unit 2, Epistemology, see if it's showing up there. Yep, so here you can see course project to undergraduate plans. This is when you will declare what format your final paper, your final project is going to be. I'll talk more about that later. In week 3, instead of working on the final project, there is a course survey for you to fill out. Week 4, you have the option of submitting a draft of your paper if you want to for instructor feedback. Week 5, you have the opportunity to submit your paper to peers for their feedback. And in week 6, you submit your final project or final paper. Okay. But so again, every week follows the same flow. Monday through Wednesday, read the introduction, read the 5 articles, complete your comprehension assessment. On Thursday, engage in these discussions. You can do it before Thursday, of course, but by Thursday, engage in these 2 discussions. Then, and those are a chance to make meaning together, right? Then from there, you work on your writing assignment, responding to peer posts, and if there is a baby step for the final project, you will engage in that as well. And remember, the writing assignment requires that you watch the weekly film, which is available for rent. Okay, that's our course. You can also click on course schedule. So I showed you checklists. You can click on the course schedule and it shows you, let's see if it's got that assignment here. Yep, there it is. Course project, undergraduate review expectations. Oh, look, I have to fix that. Okay, that'll be fixed. After I make this video, I will fix that ASAP. But so you can use the course schedule. When you do that, you can also go to full schedule, and it is going to have every single thing that you need in the course on a single page. I also really like the calendar resource. Because anytime there's a dot, it tells you that there's a deadline. So if I click on that, visual discussion response posts due, and many more here, right? So you will see all the Sunday deadlines are there. Then on Wednesday, I have got all my Wednesday deadlines, right? So throughout the course, for the 6 weeks, if there's a dot, there are assignments due. Other things to note under resources, or actually assessments. So you can see your grades here, right? The 4 categories of assignments are worth 25% each. You can see them here. There are rubrics associated with many of the assignments. That's actually a grade distribution. Whoops, let me go back up here to assessments, rubrics. You should be able to view the rubrics for each of the different assignments. You can see what you're graded on. This is the comprehension assessment. So you can see that you are graded on accuracy, your ability to summarize and synthesize, and that it's clear professional work. Okay, so you can access all the rubrics there. I recommend looking at those ahead of time. You can also access discussions here by module, right? So here's module 1 discussion, module 2, module 3. So you can access discussions that way. You can access drop boxes from the assessments, so you don't have to go back through the module. You can simply look here for the specific assignment that you are looking to do. There is a chat feature. I don't use it, but students often do. You can see who else is in the class here in the class list. And content brings us back. Okay, so this is our D2L site. Remember, 6 weeks, 6 topics. Each week has 5 readings and a film. Each week, the first half of the week is focused on readings and then comprehension. So that's a chance for me to check, did you do the readings and do you understand them? The discussions are formative assignments that are meant for you to make meaning with your classmates, to begin to think about, how do I make sense out of these readings? Not simply explain them, but use them. And then the end of the week, your writing assignment is summative, right? Showing your ability to apply what you learned to a real concrete educational experience. And you get to pick, do you want to write a short writing assignment or a long one? You get to do 3 of each over the course of the summer session. Okay, if you need me, you should email me. You can access, again, you can find me here at the Cyber Cafe. You can also go to class list and you can click on teacher and you see me there. So you can send messages to me this way. And I respond as quickly as I can. I'm typically online during a normal workday, as I believe I mentioned that in here. Right? So I talk about contacting me here. And I think that's it. I look forward to meeting you all in this online space. And as we get closer to the first official day of class, I will post my weekly introduction video to the readings and some of what we're thinking about as we go. So good luck, and I can't wait to meet you.